And we're gonna start with the top section. But I believe he's wearing a bandana. So we're gonna draw a semicircle. And one of the things that I keep telling my student is lightly press your pencil, because sometimes you go back and changes and adjust lines. So start with a regular pencil, 2B will be fine. And then um, you may want to use a 6B pencil, which is darker. 6B pencil help you make a little bit, working the shading around the different areas. Yes, try to have at least 2 or 3 pencils ready, sharpened already, have an eraser ready in case you need to erase. All right, great. This is how we're gonna do it. We're just gonna draw a lightly semicircle, which will be his head, and then we're gonna divide it, or we're gonna cut it right around here. Is we're gonna start drawing the outline of his face, and I'm trying to make it simple. Trying to make it simple, so you could do it realistically, and once you know how to do it, stay with you. This is the lower chin right here, a simple outline, and then we're going to use some lines so you could get the right dimension, the right proportion. Right here we're going to do the outline for the ear, right around here. I'm going to give you some guideline for the face, more or less where you're going to position the eyes. Yeah. Simple line over here. This line going to be erased. This is where you're going to place the eyes. The eyes is around here, and it will be around this size. These are little marks that we're going to use to determine how big we're going to make his eyes. Just about here. This is the tip of the nose, right at the bottom, just a simple line. And this is where the lips, or the top lip, will start, right around here. The lower lips start right over here, a little curvy line. Right. This will be sufficient to get the outline of the face. Since we are right here, just do the outline for the other ear. Just about that. Right? All right, let's continue adding some of the detail. We're going to continue with the eye right around here. Little round. Take your time. If I'm going too fast, always go back and replay. The space between the two eyes is around the same size of the eyes. That's a standard rules that we have when we draw a face. Nose. We're going to start right around here. And it's going to be ending around here. A little bit elevated. See, this is where the line will determine where the nose ends. The tip of the nose. Yeah, let's go back and do the eyes on the eyeball. And again, Lightly press your pencil. The eyebrow should start around here. Yeah, a little thick. Yeah, I recommend to leave a little spot, like a light spot for the eyes. Makes it a little more realistic. A little bit of wrinkle right below the eye. He was a very happy person, very excited, very passionate about what he did. Even though he retired in 1912, he always have interaction with his fan. We added some details on the nose right around here, the nostril. See, this much space is uh, what I call it the distance from the tip of the nose to the beginning of the upper lip. This is the mustache area as well, and that's what we might define. But let's do the at least the lower lip, so we could have a sense of how big we want to do it. Want to make it realistic as possible. See, when you're drawing, sometimes you don't seem to be getting there, but once you start adding detail and shading, the subject becomes more realistic. A slightly smile. That's how we remember him. Very excited person, full of passion, always with a positive attitude, a role model for all of us. I've been telling about to my kids about him and how I grew up watching him wrestle other popular wrestlers such as The Rock was is another one wrestler that I will follow on a regular basis. Okay, we're gonna start defining the mustache, and again, lightly press your pencil so you could get a feeling of the shape. That's what we're trying to define over here. The face of the face, the shape of the face. Sorry. So you could continue based on those areas already defined. You could see, we already have an idea of how, the smile on his face. Some wrinkle just around here. The smile line, what I call it. Right around here. Another one, another line. expressing, his spoke to his fan with that nice personality, and you could see it on his face every time he interacted with a fan. I used to watch it mostly on YouTube. Sometimes I didn't have the time to watch a regular TV. So YouTube was how I saw some of his most and greatest wrestling fight. See, as we go along, we start defining, adding a little bit of shading, and you take your time. This is a process of practice. See it over here. I'm adding more detail, and that's one of the reasons why I emphasize not to press your pencil too much, because you always go back and adjust. Sometimes you erase. So we're trying to define the outline of the ear inside, because over here, as you see my pencil moving, we're gonna add a hair, and that will bring another significant part that will make him look more like him. His lower chin has this shape, which is was on recon, something that we identify him right away. Try to add a little bit of shading over here, right? We're gonna leave this part for last, trying to get more detail on the face. Over here, a little bit of curves and line. See, inward right here. It comes up a little bit over here. Pressing the pencil a little bit more here. Right. Just add a little bit of shading. Right. It's I'm not even sure how to define it. A bandana, some kind of hat. Really cool and interesting hat. And we might define it a little bit. And I'm pretty sure since we didn't press the pencil too hard, we able to get this contour shape that makes his hat look as more realistic. Yeah, right around here. A little bit of shading over here. Right? And we're gonna go back and add more detail as we continue. Over here we're gonna start adding his his hair. And right around here, a little bit of curvature for his hair. The other side. And the main part right here is get an outline without adding too much detail. Because right around here, we're going to start uh, defining the shoulder. There's almost a straight line for his neck. I mean, right here. We're going to start the neck right here. You know, this curve that defines the muscle of his body. See the lower part of his neck area, a little bit darker. So we could feel free to start defining those areas around here. We start defining the beginning of the his arm. Over here, the chest. Right around here is the center of his chest. Right here, the other part of the neck, a little darker. Okay. So you still getting a sense of that is looking. Every time you add a little bit of more detail, start looking more like him. We could add some hair around here. One of his iconic look. And take your time. Take your time in doing your drawing. This is one of those drawings that you want to be able to do it because it means so much. It brings so much, so many beautiful memory. And it's not an easy drawing to do because of the sentiment involved. Yeah, we're gonna add more hair. I feel the need to add. The hair is on his back, but at least around this area we could add more. Feel free to add, when as much as you feel comfortable. Over here, since we have this much space, we could even write one of the word that we all remember. Him, Hulk Carmania or Hulkamania. Little outline, and that's how I do it. Do a little two lines right here. That's where we're gonna position the word. Start with the H right here. I'm trying to imitate the the look of the letters, the font that it was used. And you could practice in your own time. But this is more or less, it's two lines right over here. Those lines gonna be erased. More like this illustrated logo right around here. We're gonna go back and make it darker. We're doing the A right now, and I believe it has this shape. Right. Go ahead, we'll make it darker so you could see it better. See, I'm pressing the pencil, but this pencil is a 2B pencil. In a little while, we're gonna use a 6B pencil, which makes it darker for the shading area. Let's do the M right here. It's an interesting font that they use. The A. We may not be able to fix the whole word, but you have a good idea of what it says. Let's see if we're able to fix it there or fit it there. A little bit of perspective at the end. Good. Now we're gonna grab pencil 6B so we could emphasize in those lines of expression. Let's continue with the eyes. The shadow around the eye. The eyeball. Right in the middle. Dark. And then it has this white spot, which is a reflection of light on his eyes. I'm gonna put the eyebrow darker. And take your time, make it smooth and soft around here. We're gonna redefine around the eyes where the nose ends. Little curvy line over here. Right below the ear, a little bit of shading. Expression. A little darker right below the neck. Let's go back a little bit to the hack session. Define some volume over here. The mask definition. A little bit of 3D feeling over here. The hair. And those areas where the light doesn't reach, make it darker. Let's work a little bit more on the mustache. And all this is done with a pencil 6B. Put a little bit of shadow around. You see, it has this iconic, famous mustache. This, as you already know, it was Hulk Hogan. He was the one that has this mustache. A little bit of shading. Right below the mustache, we're gonna define a little bit. Little dark right here. And take your time. This is a process, and practice makes better. Little bit of shadow right around this. The lower chin got a little bit of shadow over here. This part is his mustache dropping down. Right? Some shadow right here as well. This is the center of his chest, right below his neck. And you could define the muscle. We're not going to define the muscle much. We're going to give you an outline, an idea with some shading of his strong muscular composition. Just the basic. As you add shading around this area is what makes it more three-dimensional, more realistic. Always consider the light source. This is more the chest area where I'm trying to add in some detail over here. This is the arm section. See how the shadow, the shape of his muscle continue right here. Some area you could always go back and make it darker to emphasize on those area where this is supposed to be darker around the ear, right below the neck. Those are the area that makes it look more realistic. This has been a process of drawing. It's a different approach. Neck area right here, the muscle area, something that you could always emphasize. The hair is right above his shoulder. Yeah, once you do this a couple times, you become more confident. Right here, a little bit darker as well. And this is one approach that you could do to face off Hulk Hogan. All right, around the face, you always feel free to add more shadow around the eyes as well. All right. Okay, I we're gonna end it here. I'm gonna put my pencil down, and I hope you have a good experience drawing his face. It's not easy, um, but at least learning how to do his face so it could stay in your mind for the rest of your life is something that we could do, to pay tribute to his name. Thank you.